Happy Saturday, guys.
Happy
Mike,
Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
we have a
Top of
new
the morning.
person. Top of the morning, Canada in
Yes.
the house. We have a Mike. We have a special guest today,
We do.
Amanda with HelloTrueSelf.
Yes.
She
Hi
is
guys.
a
Thanks so much
Welcome.
for having me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
for sure.
Welcome.
I'm so glad to have you. Amanda. I've known Amanda for a little bit now, and she is a team coach, just like I am, health and wellness, and she deals with all that stuff. But I met her because we're all team coaches here. But Amanda, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. That's. I feel like it's been a long journey to get to the point of like.
I'm going straight to the point.
Yeah. But it's like whenever I get that question, it's always like, okay, well, like that's a really long story, but like, I love coaching. I love being able to be a coach. I love that like journey that I get to be on with young people, especially. I feel like seeing them go from like so lost and confused and uncertain, and then have them like being so confident and just living their best life is one of the most rewarding things. Like it's truly my passion and my purpose. So I just love it. I love it so much.
That is awesome. And let me ask you, how did you even come up with HelloTrueSelf? Like, how did that even begin? Like, what's your backbone? What's the backbone of it?
Yeah. So really, I always believed in being your true self. I think just being authentic to who you are, because each person is so unique and has a wonderful, like, an amazing gifts to offer. And I just think when you're able to show up as your true self and just say hello to your true self, because sometimes that is a journey, and being able to like bring that authentic self to the world is really so powerful. And so I just love that, I'm able to help other people say hello to their true self as well. So that kind of just like, yeah, it just came up one day. It was like, I was brainstorming for so long and I'm like, what is it that I want? Because I really wanted to have like a meaning. I wanted people to like hear it and think like, okay, yeah, like I get it. And when I heard hello true self, I'm like, yeah, like that's what I want people to do. I want people to say hello to their true self and be their true authentic self, because like everyone is just like, they have so much amazingness within them, and being able to like say hello to that and bring that out is just amazing.
Right. And it just gives them, it's just like, because there are people out there that are still searching for their identity, and it just really doesn't really matter how old they are. It could be teenager, people in their 20s, in their 30s. It really doesn't matter. It could be someone in their 50s, and it could be they're still searching for their true self, for their true identity and who they are as a person. And sometimes they might be in need of clarity in who they are, and maybe they're just searching. Maybe they just want that someone to listen and just guide them in the right direction. And if you really think about it, when people think about coaching, I don't know about you guys, but at least for me, everybody asks me, are you a sports coach? Are you a basketball? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to describe myself as a coach and what I do.
I've been asked that once.
Right, Mike?
Yeah.
Like, what's your experience with that?
For myself or Amanda?
You.
Oh, for myself? Yeah, I've been asked though. It's like, well, do you guide them on playing sports? Do you guide them? It's like, I guide them on getting them what they want, matters most to them, and really kind of uncovering, unlocking, and becoming unstuck to the point where they really are zeroing in on something that is inside of them that is trying to be released, as far as their goals, their dreams, their values, and really becoming clear and concise of what they want and why they want it. And my goal and responsibility and service as a coach is to help you get what you want, and to really kind of focus on your own journey, focus on your own success, and guide you every step of the way, right? So
and that's what Universal Mind Body Soul is all about, right?
That's what my brand is all about. Yes, universal mind, body, soul. So for those of you who don't know, so yeah, no, and it's really just holding yourself accountable, goal setting, and really creating that guidance and being that person along the way that's really going to just make sure that you're sticking to the plan and guide you along the way, kind of thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
And it's just
in a nutshell.
Like, right. And like I said, even if we're with the coaches, you always want to find an identity with ourselves and what we represent. Like with me, when I created True Achievers, I knew that I wanted to create the achiever within you. The same way you mentioned, Amanda, about HelloTrueSelf, you want to introduce yourself to your true self. Yeah. And like I said, with my brand, when it comes to True Achievers, it's just like, I want to look for those certain people who want to achieve certain things, certain milestones, whether that's a teenager, for example, which we're both in, Amanda. How to guide them on the right direction, how to be better, where do they want to go? So it's all about the right guidance.
It's about
a lot of times. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was just going to add to that. It's our job as a coach too. Is really to kind of teach self-reliance in these areas of your life that you're struggling with, right? Right. So you can become self-reliant, so you can actually seek that fulfillment that you're lacking. And that's, our job is to really help you to overcome fears, obstacles, limiting beliefs, because we all need accountability. We all need some help and some coaching, whether we see it or not. We're human beings. We have 6 core human needs. And when a lot of those needs aren't met, we're overshadowed with a lot of fear and obstacles, limiting beliefs. And, once you can overcome that with the help of coaching, that's where you develop those weaknesses into strengths and develop fears into confidence, if that makes sense.
And it's all about, and it's all about going to the core issues. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about bridging that gap.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Amanda, when it comes to your coaching, everybody has, before I go into that, I just wanted to bring up, everybody has, as us as coaches, or as other coaches out there, or people who are watching, who are searching for coaching, or want to understand a little bit more about coaching, is that we all have our own style of coaching. Mm-hmm. When it comes to coaching, we are people first, and we come from experiences, and we come from the education that we get from it, and we come from as professionals, we are here to just guide you to where you want to get to. We're advisors. We're here to help you, guide you to where you want to get, to where you want to be in your life, where it doesn't matter what it is. So for me, for example, I like to deal with stress and anxiety, only because that is my expertise. That is where I've done my education with. That's where I've taken my classes with, and that's what I know. And I know how to, and I know how to control that. I cannot come here and tell you I know how to take that away from you, because there's no such thing as taking the anxiety away from you. You guys know that everybody has stress and anxiety.
Oh yeah.
Everybody has it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all about how
how you deal with it.
Exactly. Yes. It's how we control it. It's how you manage it. Because there is a benefit from stress and anxiety. When people think about stress and anxiety, it's automatically a bad thing.
Yeah.
You're always putting bad thoughts in our head, and it just doesn't always have to work that way. How can we manage it to where it can become good thoughts, where you can make it into a positive? So that is just a small example of how I deal with clients and how I deal with people when they deal with stress and anxiety. But Amanda, when it comes to how your coaching style is, what can you give an example on how you deal with your own clients? Like, what is it that HelloTrueSelf can give to a certain individual who is searching for coaching from your type of style, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, I think like in the realm of looking at like coaching young people and that stage of life, like you're at a point where you're making some big decisions about like your life, and you're young. Like it's hard. It's confusing. There's so many social pressures, peer pressure. Like it's just, there's so many different pressures and so much coming at you, especially now. There's so many new things to think about. So I think like in that, having a client, for me, like having a client at the end of our journey just feeling like totally confident, like that unshakable confidence, and like knowing that like we set goals and we crush them, like is just, it's empowering. And I think like, you know, those things like when we're talking about like having a healthy relationship with food and your body, and just really overall kind of taking everything that is inside of you and really listening to what it is that you really want for yourself, and growing into that person, and knowing that like it's not going to happen tomorrow.
Absolutely.
But if we take the small steps along the way, that we can get there. And I think in having like a coach to sort of, when you're saying like that guidance to sort of guide, and, you know, when we get stuck or there's challenges or obstacles or stuff like that, to kind of have someone to sort of be supportive and help you understand maybe where that's coming from.
Right.
And really getting a better understanding of your true self, of who you really are. And just being able to up level and become that like best self.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you on that. And it's really, you know, about letting you be yourself, your authentic self kind of thing. Like you kind of add to that, Amanda, and really kind of believing in you and your ability to achieve your vision of success. And that's where we come in to kind of help you kind of piece that together, and, you know, share in-depth info, knowledge to kind of move you forward with your goals much more quickly than you doing it on your own. Like, for example, for myself, like I wish I would have done this at 17 years old. I really wish I would have got into it a lot sooner. You know, I actually didn't actually have a coach until my mid 30s. You know, I was, you know, a late bloomer when it came to school and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with career path and whatnot. And it's tough. I mean, being a teenager, especially for you guys, I mean, like when you're coaching teenagers, like I don't know how a lot of kids even figure out or even try to figure out what they want to take in high school and then move on to college.
Right.
I didn't have that figured out, not even the slightest. Like I didn't even have anything I was even really leaning towards. I had absolutely no clue at all what I wanted to do at 17 years old. You know, it's crazy.
And
it's hard to imagine at that age, like really, like what is it that I want to do? And I just, it's so rewarding to be able to give people that clarity, because I feel like, like you, like I'm like, what is it that I want to do for the rest of my life? I think in my heart of hearts, I did know that I would be helping people in some way. But it's just like, what do you do with that? Like, what does that mean? Like, it's tough. It's definitely tough. So I'm grateful to be able to kind of step in at that time and give people that support. Because I don't think I've ever met anyone that I tell them what I do and they're like, oh my goodness, I wish that I had someone like that at that age. Because it changes your life at any age. But at that age, because you're making so many like lifelong, let's say, like decisions, it's just, you're really trying to figure it out.
Right.
Well, when you don't have a whole lot of examples too of successful people that you want to emulate, especially at 17 or even kind of growing up, I didn't have a whole lot of people that were super successful, super wealthy that I really wanted to kind of emulate and be around and learn from and have mentored and everything like that. I didn't have that. I didn't have that luxury. So I think I was really just kind of left on my own to kind of figure it out. And that's why for me, it took a lot longer to kind of piece by piece, really kind of figure things out a lot more. Right.
Right.
So Angel, I think you can kind of relate to this too, right? I think you've mentioned.
Listen, let me tell you right now, I'm going to come real, because that's what I'm all about. What you at least for us, I mean, and I'm talking in my terms right now, like what you see is what you get. I am a person like everybody else. We're all people. We all have our issues. We all have our downfalls. We all have had our past. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Okay. Coaching is not being perfect because we're not perfect individuals. We got to go through we got to go through turmoil. We got to go through issues. We got to go through problems to learn from our mistakes and become better. Now it's up to you to know where you want to go. It's up to you to use that as lessons to strive to where you want to be to where you want to go. Because it's easy to be in our comfort zone. It's easy to just live our day by day and just that's it. That's just going to be I'm going to go to work, go to school or whatever, go to work, feed my family, go to bed, do it all over again.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'm not talking bad about that because that's what I was used to. That's what I'm used to. But like I said, the reason I decided to become a coach is because I also wanted to give back. I want to share my story with you. I want to share my story with the world and connect with others who are maybe struggling from what I was in the past. And I could help guide them to where they want to go.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know,
and
I mean,
just,
it sounds, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, no, I was just to add to that. I think what led me to it, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, was kind of hitting a wall for me metaphorically was enough. Like working all those dead end jobs, you know, finishing school, making good money, but just like working a dead end job because I just wasn't getting any fulfillment out of it. I wasn't getting any satisfaction helping really anybody to the way I knew I could with a lot of my expertise and experience and knowledge that I could actually give back to somebody. And instead I was just, you know, working for somebody else, making them happy, but not myself.
Right.
And so when I hit that wall, metaphorically speaking, where I was just like, hey, there's gotta be something more for me than this. You know, I'm just tired of working these dead end jobs. I'm tired of feeling unfulfilled.
Right.
And that's what kind of just, you know, started to do it for me. It was just like light bulbs were kind of going off little by little. I found a coach that definitely helped transition into my own abilities and things that I already know I'm good at, and kind of just went from there. And it just kind of progressed into, obviously, with universal mind, body, soul. Now I just feel like this is my way of giving back to everyone in the best way I know how.
Right. And it's all about, and it's always representing ourselves in the best way and how we define our identity.
Yeah.
Like we know who we are as people, but we also want to help others find themselves as well. Which is very ironic because I mean, yeah, we are talking about coaching, and I know that I spoke to some people about coaching or therapy, or it's like we're not therapists, we're not psychologists, we're just coaches who we just help guide. We just advise. Okay, we just advise you on where you want it, or on what you should do, or what you want to do. We're here to listen to you. We're here to lend you an ear on what's really going on. There's nothing wrong with you. There may be nothing wrong with you. Maybe you're just searching for that extra push, for that guidance of where you're going.
Yeah, and I think also too, Mike touched on that as well when he was talking about his coach. Like, I think it's important to note that coaches have coaches. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, even though I'm a coach, like, I have 3 different coaches that I'm working with. So I think that, like, in knowing that it's just knowing the power of coaching. Like, it's
totally.
Yeah.
It's and just exactly what you said, Amanda, reminded me. It's an investment in yourself. There's no greater investment than the investment in yourself. You cannot go wrong with that, because when you invest in yourself, you are communicating self-love. And when you communicate self-love, you are communicating, this is what I'm giving back. This is something that I'm going to basically look into, and I'm going to better myself. So guess what? The universe is going to help conspire with you to make that happen. The universe has no choice but to help conspire with you to make that happen, right?
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I think it's really amazing when you can see that you're not only transforming clients, but like that you're continuing to invest in yourself too, because like you're saying, like there is no better investment. There is no better investment than to invest in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
Totally.
It really isn't. And it's funny because people, like I said, people don't know much about coaching, but we're not saying that whoever's watching this right now, we're not saying that coaching is for you. We're not saying that coaching is not for everybody. It's for those.
No, it's not for everybody.
Right. It's for those who are seeking a better meaning for their identity. And it's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Because trust me, I'm not perfect. I've been through my struggles. You know, I've done my do's and don'ts. But that's the beauty of it. Because I know who I am as a person. Amanda, you know who you are as a person. Mike, you as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We are the experts of where we're at right now. We have the experience of how to deal with others. We know how to communicate with others. We know how to listen. That's the whole part of coaching, is that we're here to listen to what you have to say or what you want to share that you cannot share with the world right now at the moment. Maybe you're finding that maybe you're searching for that certain release, or you're trying to search for that certain thing that you want to find about yourself or you want to do, but you just don't have let's just say you do have the ambitions, but you want that extra push. You want to have that other person that maybe that's not part of your family. It's just someone from the outside that just wants to listen, that's able to listen to you.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because I found a stat that is funny, because I feel like I found a stat that 99% of people find coaching rewarding. A lot of times they're going to think to themselves, like, what does that even mean?
I believe that.
I just feel like people need to experience that to understand it. I mean, we can sit here and ramble. We can sit here and just talk all day about coaching. But in the back of your mind, you're like, what does that even mean? Well, what I'm trying to tell you, you have to experience it for yourself to understand.
And I think too, it's also in finding the right coach for you, though.
Yes,
like,
of course.
I think, like you were saying before, like there's so many different coaches, there's so many different coaching styles, there's so many different, like how everyone has their strengths.
Right.
As a coach, everyone has their strengths as a coach, or even just, it's like really connecting with the coach. Like if you're out there and you're searching for a coach, it's like finding the right coach for you. Sometimes it's not the first coach you get on the phone. Maybe it is, but it's not always that way. And don't give up. Like call someone else, talk to somebody else, because there's different coaches. Everyone has different backgrounds, different experiences, different strategies, like just different coaching style in general. So I think finding that, I think that's really important. Like if you don't have feeling the right vibe with the coach, they're not the coach for you. And that's okay, because there's lots of them out there. You just have to
absolutely
find them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree in the sense as well with that. Is not everybody is also going to be coachable. Clients, you really have to have that good one-on-one conversation and find out if they are coachable. Because I mean, there's often times where I've interviewed some people too, and I've just kind of let it pass because they just weren't a good fit for me. Now, that's not to say they weren't a good fit for somebody else, or they just weren't quite ready yet, or just quite there yet. So it takes, ambition is great. Coachable is great. You know, if you don't have any goals yet, that's definitely something we can help you with. As long as you are willing to kind of put in the effort and you have an open mindset when it comes to taking in the information and listening to what we, got to say and taking with it and running with it. But it takes effort on the client's part too to be coachable, because not everybody's going to be coachable. Not everybody's going to be the right fit. And if they're not, I will pass them up and just kind of be honest with them and just be like, you know what, I don't think I'm probably the best fit for you. I would make a recommendation for them to kind of seek
referrals,
something else. Yeah. So I've been in that position too before.
I mean, the whole bottom line about this is that our profession is that we're here to help.
Yeah.
We're here to help, and it can even be in a fun way.
It always has to be
like
fun.
I said, we always
Fun, yeah.
If it's not fun, it's not worth it.
yeah, because we like I said, the reason I said that is because we all have our different styles of coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we all like to have fun with our coaching because that just brings out the best in everybody else. It makes you feel comfortable. That's my number one goal. That's your number one goal, Amanda. That's your number one goal, Mike. Where we want to make those certain few or those certain clients or those certain people feel comfortable with themselves, to make it fun, to make it feel like, you know what? I enjoy our sessions. I enjoy talking to that one person.
Yes, there's got to be that connection.
When you feel comfortable, what happens next? You start opening up.
Yeah.
Transformation.
Exactly.
Transformation is a great way. Exactly, man. That's a great point. That's a great point that you brought up. It's about transformation. And like right now, I get it. We're all under COVID. COVID is it's uncertain times where we can't control. We have news. We have people talking about certain things. People are in different situations. We don't know what everybody's current situation or what they're currently going under. We don't know. It just takes that one conversation to really pinpoint what's going to happen next. That person might be feeling lost. That person might be feeling confused. They don't know where they're going. Especially now, we don't know what the future holds. Nobody knows. There's things that we can control, and there are also things that we can't control. Okay? But what you can control is what are you going to do next?
Yeah, all you can do is
really better yourself, or do you want to stay in that bubble, or do you want to stay in that comfort zone that's just going to keep you in that comfort zone? It's not going to get you anywhere.
Exactly. And the only thing you have control over is how you show up. That is the only thing you have control over. The rest is irrelevant.
Yeah, there's always going to be things that are happening that we can't control. And I think like when you say that's like focusing on those things that we can control, those decisions that we can make for ourselves, those things that like, yeah, that we really can actually control. Yes, you can't control everything,
right,
but you can control how you respond to those things. And I think being mindful of that, and I think that's something really as a coach that we can even just open people up to even thinking of other possibilities of what they can control or other opportunities or transforming something that may seem like, oh, I can't control that. But there are circumstances around that you can control. So what are those things that you can't control? Getting creative with that, I think is really something unique that coaching brings to the table. That it's that creative, coming up with creative solutions to things so that we don't stay stuck.
Right. And that you brought up a good point, because this also, with coaching, it also helps the decision making.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of times we get into our heads and we trying to figure out on our own. I'm not saying everybody does it, but let's just say I know that sometimes I will get stuck in my head and I will start thinking, what's going to be my next move? The certain situation that I'm currently under, I want to fix this issue. There are certain people out there that they can make great decisions all the time. They have that ability. That is awesome. That is amazing. But there are also a few, like me, for example, that had issues on making those right decisions. As coaches, what type of ways do you help, or what type of guidance do you help with your clients to guide them on making that right decision making? Now, I know that sounds a little bit vague. I know that sounds a little bit generic, but let's just say that the person is stressed out at their job. Let's just say they want to get away from their job, right? So Amanda, if I was to tell you that I'm your client, and I was to tell you that, I'm currently at a standstill right now because I'm currently at a job that I do not enjoy, but I do have this interest in music. I just need that. I could be, let's just say I'm 17 years old, I'm 16, I'm 15. I'm currently working at the movie theater. I'm working at the grocery store, but I don't want to work at the grocery store for a long time. I just want to find my way because I'm about to graduate high school. I don't know where I'm at right now because that's where a lot of teenagers are at right now. So as a teen coach, how would you guide them? What is true self going to do for them? Like what type of style do you have for that?
Yeah, I think really each client is unique, and I think every like coaching program or whatever it is that I'm creating, it is creating, like it's customized to each unique person, because each person's journey is totally different, and what they're experiencing, what they've gone through, like it is very different.
Right.
And I think in that, reminding ourselves that it's okay, one step at a time. It's just that 1% shift that we're making that adds up over time. Like, yes, you may be frustrated in where you are right now, but not letting that frustration take over and being like, oh, it's too hard, it's too frustrating, I can't do it, and getting stuck there, and just letting you know that, like, but what's one small thing we can do today? Is there, okay, you're interested in music. What is it about music? What are some things in music that you want to explore? And now that we've started exploring, that's one step. That's one step towards music.
Right.
And maybe for whatever reason you're stuck in the job, you need the money or whatever it might be the case, but we aren't going to take those small steps to get you there. And having that big, the big end goal picture, whatever that looks like, and keeping that in mind. And I think almost like in those moments where, because every day isn't going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to make, one day you might take one small step and one day you might take 5. Like each day may be a little bit different depending. But I think it's like in those discouraging days where it's like, I didn't really it didn't feel like I made any steps. But the fact that even you just thought about the fact that I'm working towards this and this is why, and what's important about that to you, and just keeping that end goal in mind, and that like the accountability, the support, all those things that like we will get there, but let's just go like one step at a time, and like really kind of like guiding them through those things and celebrating all the wins, like small, big, whatever it may be, but like celebrating, like even the smallest thing like is worth celebrating. Like I'm all about celebrating and having fun and just
I am too. I agreed. It's about celebrating those little mini wins for the big win, because with human nature, what in the brain especially, what gets rewarded gets repeated. And when you constantly are celebrating even a mini win, you're just going to find ways to do it again and want to do it again, because it's a gratifying experience when you're hitting those little mini wins, even if they're small wins, those little mini milestones. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that you're making progress, because what is success? It's progress. Okay. It doesn't matter how much, doesn't matter how big, it's progress regardless of it. So,
absolutely.
I mean, it's important to try and create kind of a fun, positive space for your client. Like I try to keep a very positive environment, judgment free, obviously.
Judgment free, that's a big one. That's
a big one. Huge. Yeah. So, we're not going to judge you. We're not going to judge you on your past or your mistakes or the progress you're making along the way, because we're all human. We all, like you mentioned earlier, Amanda, like everybody is unique. Every client is unique. Their situation and fork stuck in the road type situation is going to be different than everybody else. So it's really important to kind of make that a very good, positive environment where they feel judgment free.
Right. I have a it's funny because I know that I asked Amanda a specific question on team coaching and how to go around that. But for Mike, I want to answer your question because I know that you're really big with healthy eating and how
Yeah.
to really balance your diet the right way. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. Okay, I'm gonna be a realist. I had a problem. I have a problem with snacking, man. Okay.
Don't beat yourself up over it, man. We all, you know, I do.
I am not. Because you know what? I am real. I'm not going to sit here and say I know it all. I don't. So I could deal with stress and anxiety. No problem. You got a problem? Come to me. I got you. But anyways, when I'm talking about snacking, I tend to snack a lot. I am learning on how to transition from going to snacking all time, or like, let's just say late at night, or snacking during the day. I want to learn how to be more hungry. So let's just say
I want to learn to be more hungry.
I'm serious, man. I'm being serious.
Okay.
That's just how I am as right now. So let's just say if someone with the same issue as me, who likes to snack, but they want to eat better, or they want to, I'm not saying I eat bad. I'm just saying like I want to control my diet by not snacking so much and just keeping it to like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So as a coach, how would you coach me on doing that? Like, how would you control my metabolism?
Well, first of all, I would assess exactly what your breakfast, lunch, and supper is. I would like to assess, you know, what your water, and there's a lot of variables to that. There's not really a generic answer to that. I would say, yeah, I'd like to find out what your protein level intake is, what your water intake is like, what your fiber intake is like, because if you can include more protein just off the hop here, you know, typically when you have a diet that's more higher protein and more fiber-based foods, you're going to be less hungry throughout the day. Okay, depending on your metabolism, depending on your workout regimen too. So there's a lot of variables to that equation that really kind of play a factor as far as what is, you know, really being assessed and what is what the issue is with the snacking. If you're snacking all the time, it tells me you're not getting enough calories throughout the day. Okay, or you're not getting the right calories. So there's, just because let's say a person has 2,000 calories, a bunch of that could be liquid, a lot of that could be soda, a lot of that could be, you know, the wrong type of calories versus the right type of calories that's enabling them to get the satisfaction and fulfillment in their daily intake that's preventing them from wanting to have more.
Right.
So if you're constantly snacking all the time, there could be an issue with your calorie intake.
I know that we spoke about juicing before, and I've been doing juicing for quite a while, and it's just made a huge difference into my diet and it's just basically juicing is just part of my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So good.
Right.
I love it.
You too, Amanda? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it helps with me when I was always trying to find a solution to my anxiety. I was always trying to find a solution to my stress. And I found that juicing healthy products, as in like vegetables, which I like to do, because I am a fruit consumer, but I just like to juice with, for example, spinach. I love taking in spinach. I don't know why. Call me Popeye, whatever.
Yeah.
But
when you know what feels good for your body, like,
yes.
you know.
Yes.
You know, yeah. You know it's a difference. High electric, high alkaline foods make a difference.
That's the whole point. That is just the first steps of self-development.
Yeah.
Awareness.
So exactly.
Well, that's just it. And that's something I really try to promote in my brand, especially, is, you know, with the physical component being such an important variable in self-development. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I mean, your body is a temple. It requires the same type of self-love and nourishment that you would in any other key area in your life that you're trying to improve. Because if you're feeling good, you're going to look better. You're going to feel better as far as energy. You're going to want to do more things with your day, more productivity. Because if that area of your life is going well, you're just going to naturally transition into other key areas of your life that you want to improve upon. You know, that's just the nature of it. Because you're not just going to keep it focused in one area and let the rest of that kind of fall to shit. right? That's going good. Now you're going to want to transition into something else in your life that's lacking or unbalanced.
So I think it's like all those things that we put into our body, and like not just like, you know, food definitely is one of them. And I think like it's also like the information we consume, the books we read, that like just every like all of it like adds up. And I think like putting that emphasis on like what foods we take in and how that really can change like so many other aspects of our lives. It's really interesting to me. I think it's so cool to think like just small little shifts that you can make in like even just diet, and not to get it twisted, like coaching is not, you know, like a dietitian or anything along those lines, but just in the sense of like being mindful of the things that we are putting into our body.
I don't think I've shared this with you, but yeah, I used to work for a naturopathic doctor when I was at school many years back. And that was a huge eye opener for me with what you put into your body. Naturally, you're putting out there. It just becomes, and it's not just appearance wise or looking lean and fit or anything like that. It's about your whole mind. It really plays a role in your brain. Like, I mean, your gut health,
mental clarity.
Your clarity, your overall energy, just how you're vibrating, just how you're kind of coming across it and showing up into the world, just how you're showing up at work, how you're showing up at school, you know, like it's a big role in mental health. You know, if you're eating McDonald's every single day, you're going to feel like
you feel crappy.
Like garbage. Yeah. Well, I mean, they've done studies on this. They've done a movie on it, for crying out loud. You know, I mean, if you're eating stuff like that all the time, then naturally, you're just not going to feel good. You're not going to show up as your best self. And, you know, not to knock anybody's diet or anything like that, but it's just, it goes without saying that you are what you eat, like the saying goes. And it transitioned into your mind. It transitions into your performance, your confidence. So, I think it's, and it was like I said, it was a huge eye opener for me, learning about all the different holistic, naturopathic type methods and information and everything. Right. So definitely it was a huge eye opener for me.
Absolutely. Guys, you guys know there's just so much information out there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
information overload.
There is. Yeah. You get into
absolutely. You could be listening paralysis. To us right now. For someone who's listening to us right now, this is how it goes. You could be listening to us right now. Listen to us as coaches, what we do, what we offer, how our coaching styles are, our personal stuff, and what we do on a daily basis, whatever. But then 2 hours later, you're watching something else, or we just have so much things going on in our lives that it's just hard to keep up with one thing. Okay. And that is where it's just going to drive us, some of us, I'm not saying everybody, it's just going to drive us crazy, because it's just like, what do I do next? Where do I go? What should I do?
Yeah, then you get into that state of analysis paralysis, and you're just like, there's just so much information. So you really kind of have to, you know, take a lot of it with a grain of salt.
Yes.
You know, and find what works for you, because what works for Angel might not necessarily work for the next guy, right? So it's something that you know, you really have to kind of find.
What I like to do, Mike, is may not like what you like to do, or what I like to do, Amanda, you probably don't do the same.
Yeah, or it might even like I might not like it. It may not work the same for me. Like everybody is so different, and I think like also that is kind of like in that coaching.
But when right. So when it comes to coaching, we meet in the middle, and we do have something in common. We're all coaches.
Yeah,
we have our different styles.
Yeah,
we have our different niches. We focus on certain things, but at the end of the day, we meet in the middle, and we just discuss coaching, because that is just what we love to do. That is our passion. That is our profession. That is our job. That's what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And what can we do to give back is the question.
Yes.
If you're looking at this and you're thinking to yourself like, okay, I might have a better understanding about coaching, but what does it really mean? Okay, well, you know what? You need to make that action and ask what it does. Asking what coaching could do. Because we're not sitting here telling you that you have a problem. I got a problem. We all have problems.
Everybody's got problems.
It's called life.
You wouldn't be human if you don't got problems.
Coaching.
Problems are a sign of life.
It's called life coaching. We all have problems.
Problems
I got a problem. I want to share with you. Yeah, you want to ask me about what coaching's all about. All right. Let me give you a tour of my mind. Welcome to my world. That's what I like to say to people. That's what I like to say to my clients. Welcome to my world.
We're still human too. We're still human too.
Yeah, I think we've just kind of grown a tool belt.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? We have our tool belt that we want to like teach others how to use those tools too, so that like it's kind of like we have kind of, you know, mapped a lot of the stuff out, and to be able to like show people, okay, how am I going to get through this jungle of life? And, you know, not that it's not going to be perfect, and there's going to be some detours you might have to take, and it's not linear. Yeah. And I think like that we're able to like be there to support through that journey where it's like, we can help them. We can help you. We can help you see like the positive and the negative, the like, you know, something might be, what might be an obstacle is actually an opportunity. So let's find that. Let's figure that out.
Let's figure it out, right?
Exactly.
You don't have to be by yourself. You don't need to be alone to figure it out.
Yeah. Ideally, having that support is the best way to get that done.
Yeah, and the only way you're really going to discover that is you know, by doing a one-on-one discovery call with us or a consultation. Yep. And you know, let us help you uncover and unravel some of those things that are just hidden and dormant, that is in with every one of us, that's just sitting there dormant. You know it's there. You know, that's where we come in to kind of help you with that.
Yeah. And it's not, and there's no, here's the thing. There's no commitment with it. It's all about asking. We can have a simple conversation. If it's for you, then we can carry on. If not, then you know what? You had an idea on what coaching was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that idea too, when you're saying like, even like, I don't know, for me, like in any sort of discovery calls or any like introductory calls, and even just a question of like, what is coaching? There's never any pressure. Like I would never want to pressure someone into coaching. If you don't think it's for you, it's not for you, and that's okay. Or maybe it's just not for you right now, and that's okay too. And I think like letting people know that it's not you know, pressuring you into anything. There's never any pressure. It's if you feel that it's the right fit, if I feel that you're the right fit for the program, that would be the only reason why I would invite someone into a program or even like discuss programs. If they're not the right fit and you don't think that you're the right fit, that's totally cool. Like it's okay. It happens.
You know, like it's funny because at least with my experience when I first started my journey with coaching, I knew I wanted to do it, but I wanted to get more in depth on the meaning of it. So I did my research, I did my studying, I did my courses, and I took the effort of getting out of my comfort zone to really join courses. And Mike, that's where I met you, and Amanda, that's where I met you, and that's how we just created a community of like-minded individuals, which is us as coaches.
It's kind of funny how that worked out.
It was kind of funny how it worked out. I never would have thought, I mean, I really didn't expect it to be where we're at right now, where we're right now doing a podcast about coaching. I didn't really think it was going to go this far. I wasn't really sure. Right? But now that we have a foundation built with our brands and what we're doing, now we're ready to just give from what we know. Amanda, you have your style. Once again, Amanda, you have your style. I have my style. Mike, you have your style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about sharing with everybody else. But obviously, as the three of us and all the other coaches that we know, it's just a community. We just know how to meet in the middle, and we discuss coaching. And that's how we just help one another. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, I consider myself a coach. Amanda, you're a coach. Mike, you're a coach. But guess
Yeah.
what? Even coaches need coaches.
Yeah.
There's going to be days where I'm going to be thinking to
I
myself,
still
like,
work with a coach.
I have a coach. Amanda, we
Yeah.
have the same coach.
I love it. And I probably will for the rest of my life.
Right.
So,
Or you know what?
Yeah, me too.
Or like I said, if I have a question, I'm going to ask Amanda a question. If I'm stuck on something, I'm going to ask Mike, hey, Mike, I have a question. Can you get me unstuck about about something that's going on? Something's
yeah,
bothering me
it's
or
great.
something I'm struggling with. Can you, what's your perspective on it? What do you think about it? And that's how it goes. That's coaching.
Yeah.
That's coaching.
Yeah.
You're not telling me what to do. You're guiding me on what I should do, but I'm taking it upon myself to make that action happen, to make it happen for myself.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's a matter of taking the information and running with it however you choose, right? I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we, kind of come in. I mean, as humans, we're co-creators by nature. And so we're able to kind of go far beyond our thoughts into actions, learning and leverage from other people. And that's where we come in to do that. And, yeah, you and I have kind of helped each other out before in certain situations. And that's great. I mean, all, business people, athletes, other driven individuals all reach new levels through some form of coaching. And it makes a big difference.
Oh yeah, I love that you mentioned those like athletes, entrepreneurs, like
Yeah.
they all have coaches.
Yeah.
They all have coaches.
How do
And
you
like
think-
they
how do you
got
think
there
they're striving?
because they had coaches.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Why do you think they're growing? Why do you think they're improving as individuals?
Mhm.
You can't do it by yourself. There's no way.
Yeah. In life, you're either growing or you're dying. If you're not evolving and you're not constantly, reaching new heights and like, for example, a lot of people, when they finish college, for example, they think that that's it, that they don't have to learn anymore. They stop reading, they stop learning new things, they stop taking new courses and new other workshops, and they don't do any coaching. And then they find themselves in a position where they're miserable and they hate their little wheel spin that they're doing. And it's sad because, like I said, if you're not growing, you're dying. It's something Tony Robbins has mentioned. It's something I've learned from him. And those words really resonated with me, because in life, it's a nonstop journey, no matter what age. You hit to be 85, like Mr. Bob Proctor, and that man is still learning all the time.
At the age where he's at, he's still learning.
Yeah, he's still learning.
He has a lot of he has a lot of experience.
He's 85. Like, can you believe he's 85? How many 85-year-old people
he has
communicate
a
the way
lot
he
of
does?
information. He has a lot of information. He's not going to tell you. He's going to tell you that he's been through it all.
Yeah.
But he's still evolving every single day because he's learning something new every single day.
Exactly.
We can always learn and grow.
We're
Always.
all learning and grow. When you have to
Exactly.
learn and grow. I love retaining so much information. Sometimes I have a lot of useless information in my mind.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because I feel, for me at least, that I know for you guys as well, is that you just feel like there's a growth. You're growing. Your mind is a muscle. Whoever's watching, you have to remember, your mind is a muscle.
Yes.
You may go to Mike, better. You used to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You will go to the gym. You want to look good. You want to work out. You want to work out your biceps. You want to work out your back. You want to work out your legs. Okay. Yeah. Physically, you can see that, and you might think, wow, that person is in great shape. But we never think about our mindset.
Yeah, we got to do the same thing for our
You
brain.
got to do it with your mind. Your mind, you got to keep your mind going. If not, your mind's going to get, that's where stress and anxiety comes
You're going to go to mush if you don't. It's a constant, it's constantly needs to be fueled and filled with nourishment and positive material. Right. Like for myself, I've mentioned to you before in previous podcasts, Angel, I don't watch news. I try to limit what I feed myself as far as any negativity that's going on in the world or anything like that, because, what you observe, you participate in. And, if you're constantly filling it with negativity, and when you turn on the news, what happens? You got robberies, you got murders, you got bombings, you got all that sort of stuff that's going on that you just don't need to keep feeding your mind in, because it's invoking fear, and it's invoking things that just aren't going to help your growth. You know, me, I'm constantly trying to learn new things. I'm constantly, when I'm not working, I'm reading. You know, I watch Netflix maybe once a week, and it's usually documentaries. That's just me. That's because I constantly like to be.
I'm 100%. I'm 100% on that, because
Yeah.
I am for me, for example. Okay, I'm being real. I'm a YouTube connoisseur, but I love watching podcasts, other people's podcasts. I love watching Joe Rogan. I love watching I love watching documentaries.
It's just
I love learning. I love history.
Exactly.
I love history. I love history. I love learning new things. I love learning about the past, because what we have now came from the past. What we have now came from the past. What we're going through.
Totally.
Sometimes history repeats itself.
Yeah.
But our stories come from the past, at least for mine. Like, I like to share my story. It just comes from my past. My past is a learning experience. Now I'm using the new me to learn more, to learn other new skills, to learn more about coaching, to learn how to be a better coach. And that's what I want to give to the world. Amanda, for you too as well. I'm pretty sure you have for example, I remember you used to always put a good point. I remember, I will never forget, but you always, when we'll get on our coaching chats, I remember you telling me, I will never forget, you will always tell me, sometimes you have to get that coaching hat off and just be real. Because we are real people.
Good point.
Yeah.
We are real people.
It's true.
Like I just mentioned, that I'm a YouTube connoisseur. I love watching documentaries. I love watching real things happen. I like what's happening now, living in the now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I love taking in new information, because when you're taking in new information, for me, and I know for you guys as well, but it just makes me want to research. I love to research certain things.
Yeah, same here.
Mm-hmm.
I would do my research, and I would just be captivated with what I just learned, and I would just sit there and just read an article.
I try to put I'm constantly in that mindset too, where I'm constantly trying to learn, and I'm trying to like take little snippets of it, and I'll put like some of it in my content, because my content is just like little snippets of just things that I'm learning, things that I've learned. And you know, it's because I want to give it back to the world and just kind of share with it. And it's just, there's so much, like, and you know, I think in our content, Angel, like you and I both, like we learn things that we just kind of are able to show it in kind of a snippet of information in our content. I think that's kind of relayed there, and it's just a constant, never-ending journey of learning, of growing. You know,
Amanda, I know that you have a son. You love spending time with him, and that is, I mean, that just means the world to you. So, as a mother, like, what certain things do you do that just keeps your mind fresh and just keeps your mind on track all the time to just continue on the path of what you're doing? Explain. What I'm trying to say is, like, what's a small secret that you can share that's just gonna resonate with whoever's watching this?
Yeah, I think it's just in continuing to show up and continuing to know that you are doing your best is the best you can do always. Like, you are always doing your best. And even in that moment, sometimes it may feel like, oh my goodness, I did the wrong thing. I said the wrong thing. I acted in the wrong way, whatever that may be. But knowing that that is exactly what needed to happen. That was exactly what was meant to happen. And we can learn from those experiences, and being patient with ourselves, not beating yourself up and being like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I act that way? And really just like slowing down and being patient. And I think that, like, the power of silence, like in a moment, sometimes you don't need to react. You don't need to say anything. Just give yourself a second to take it in and really, when you're going to make that next action, think about it.
Yeah,
I agree.
And if it after it feels like, oh, that maybe wasn't the best choice, knowing that at that time you had that, with whatever resources you had, you thought that was the best thing that you could do. So that's what you did. And you don't need to beat yourself up about it. It's next time that situation comes up, you know what? It happened that way last time, but it doesn't have to happen that way this time. And I think just like also being present in those moments with our kids is so underrated. Putting away the distractions, like when you mentioned taking off the coaching hat, like just putting those things on pause and just being there in the moment. Because at the end of the day, like that's all that they want. That is all that our kids want, is just to connect with us, whether it feels like they're, you know, bothering you, or it's like, for me, I've always had this thought of like, if there's ever a moment as mom that it's like, oh my goodness, like I feel like irritated, or I feel like just like, oh, like I just feel those moments. It's knowing that in those moments, that's when he wants to connect with me most, whether he wants to get my attention and it's not maybe in the most positive way, but he knows how to get my attention. So if I'm not initially right there and present, he senses that. So I kind of like take a step back, and like as soon as I feel that, like, oh, like I'm like, no, it's him wanting to connect. He just wants to connect with me, and being real in those moments, and like actually like, okay, I do need to stop what I'm doing and like have, you know, a time to just spend with him, and even like having those dedicated moments that are just him and I, so that he knows that I am there. And that I want that connection too. I mean, parenting is something, oh my goodness, it's tough. It is tough, but there is so much value and so much that we can learn from our kids. And I think not thinking of them, like thinking of them in that way, that they can actually, just as much as we can teach them stuff, they can teach us things too. I think is just something that is really, really important.
Well, kids can be like our biggest teachers, because they haven't been conditioned yet. They haven't been preconditioned by society, by, peer groups and things like that when they get into their, teens and whatnot.
Their brains are still learning how to retain
They
things.
still have that imagination.
Yeah.
They have that imagination where they know what they love. They know what they are passionate about. They can turn, a cardboard box into like something fun, because it's the imagination, And I think that's where a lot of us as adults really need to kind of go back and think, okay, so before society got to you, what is it that you love doing? What was it that you really wanted to be when you grew up?
Yeah.
And
bring the fun back.
Bring the fun back.
Oh, yes. That was what I was gonna bring up. That was a great point, Amanda. Like when I see, like I could have the worst day in the world. Doesn't matter what happened. I could have the worst day, for example. But when I see my niece and nephew, they're just so happy all the time.
Yes.
So it's kind of hard to ignore their smiles and their innocence. They're just kids. Yeah. They're happy all the time. When you see that, when they're happy, they just bring that joy out.
Yeah.
They want to play with you. They want to see how they want to be a part of you. They want your attention.
Mm-hmm.
But they do it in such a loving way where it's just like, how can you ignore that? I want to have fun too. You know what? Forget about what happened. Forget about what he or she said. Forget about that certain situation. Let's worry about now. Let's have fun now. Let's have us time.
And the reason why,
you know what I mean? That's just.
Yeah. And the fun aspect of it is huge. And the reason why I brought up the cardboard box is because, I mean, I remember when I was like 6, I turned like an old cardboard box, a bigger one that my parents had in the living room, and I made like a freaking race car out of it with felt markers. I put tires on the side of it, and I jumped in it. And I was like, cool. Like, I just made something fun out of this cardboard box.
Right.
I used my imagination and creativity with it. And I thought that was the coolest looking thing ever. I made this little like race car out of a cardboard box. You know, am I going to do that in my teen years? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right? Would anybody do that in their teen years? I don't know. But
I think those are the things that we kind of like, as we get older, it's like you almost, I don't know if it's like, forget to have fun, like forget to do the things that bring you joy. Like you get so like this fast paced, like work, and that sort of cycle that like sometimes you got to break the cycle, take a pause and like do something that actually like we love doing, do something that you actually enjoy, do the things that like maybe you did do when you were a kid and like that lit you up and made you excited. Because those are the things that really like do matter. And I don't know that we put enough emphasis on those things. And I think that is one of the things that kids can definitely show us, that like having fun it's fun and it's important. And it's something that we should all make part of our, you know, our routine in whatever way that looks like for you. And for everybody will be different, but for each person, whatever that is, to make sure that you are still having fun, whether you have kids or don't have kids, but still to just do things that you enjoy doing.
Right. Exactly. It's about that, your passion and imagination and creativity again. And kids just naturally have that, you know, because they don't know, they haven't been preconditioned yet to society and pressures and the norms and expectations and all that jazz from wherever.
Absolutely.
So,
and it's funny because I mean, like I said, coaching is so broad, but we all have our own expertise with it. But for example, like Mike, you are into health and wellness, right? I mean, you can guide a teenager on how to eat better, because obviously we're not all perfect, but we're just so consumed of getting the potato chips or drinking a pop or, you know, just, you know, drinking all the bad stuff, energy drinks and everything like that. But how can I feel like kids needs to be educated a little bit more on being more organic, eating better, have your veggies, have your fruits, and, you know, eat better, have a better diet.
Well, the sooner you start, the better you're going to be. You know, if you can start earlier, obviously you're going to do better in school. Your brain is obviously going to be developing more in a healthier way, and it's going to be optimized in a more healthier way. Whereas if you're consuming, you know, sugary drinks all the time and a lot of garbage foods, especially in the development stage as teenagers, which is crucial for that period, for them to take in as much healthier nutrition, healthier lifestyle if they can. And it starts with parenting too. And genetics play a big role in it too. Like some people, you know, have diabetes or in their family and things like that, which also plays a big role in as to why it's even more important to kind of have kids starting at a younger age to become more healthy, because it's only going to benefit them as they get older. It's only going to benefit them through school, through their academics, through their, you know, career, their performance.
Even mental health.
Mental health. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
So the sooner the better.
Now, I mean, if you think about everything that's going on now, and I mean, look at schools come back on right now, and Amanda, your son's going back to school, so it's like
really interesting time for school, and there's so much to like think about, so much to consider, and like when you just almost like it's like sticking to basics, starting with the foundation. Like, let's start there and then build from that. And that's why too, like I love so much working with younger people, because it is like really like building that solid foundation for their future. But like I think just like at any age though, it's like let's just go back to the basics. Super simple. Like doesn't have to be super complicated. Doesn't have to be anything that like, because as soon as it feels overwhelming or it feels like too much, then it's oh, it's too hard, or it's really easy to get overwhelmed and discouraged. So what's one small thing? What is one small thing that we can shift in whatever area it is that you're working on to get to where it is that you want to be? And like, that's those small manageable things, because it's definitely possible for anyone to get to where they want to be.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what are some of the struggles that you find right now? It's kind of the commonality among the teenage side of things there, do you find?
Yeah, I think this whole like stress of like going back to school, that's a big one, like the anxiety around that. And like, you know, for some kids, they love being at school and they've missed it. But now, like, with all the new regulations and things like that, it looks different. And how do you adapt to that different, like how things look? It's new. I think just like a lot of career path, like just figuring out like who they are, what it is they want to do with their life. There's a lot of like, you know, having a healthy relationship with food and your body, and figuring out what works for you. And I think like eliminating that compare and despair. It's not about, everyone's journey is unique to them, and you are exactly where it is that you need to be on your journey. You don't need to compare to the next person and where they're at, what figured out. And no, them. You are you, and you need to do you. Is something that I hear myself saying a lot. It doesn't matter, or even like parental pressures and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot that is coming at you as a young person, and then like trying to adapt to a new school routine, whatever that may look like, it's a lot. It's very overwhelmed, and anxiety and stress and all those like are big ones that tend to come up quite a bit, wouldn't you say, Angel?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just like you mentioned, when I know you mentioned, just find the foundation. What's the, you know, let's go back to the fundamentals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's go back. Let's just
Like
go back to, it seems like every time we talk, man, your cat just comes.
I can set my watch.
Wants to be part of it.
Wants to be included.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just really going back to the fundamentals and just understanding what the core issues are.
Yeah.
And it's just
finding that balance. Like
finding that balance, absolutely. Find that balance and finding out what's really slowing the person down. Yeah. What's that one thing that's not allowing you to move on to the next level? I mean, we can go into specifics, but we'll be here all day.
Oh yeah.
But let's just.
And for each person, it's different too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every situation, every person is different. But it's all about finding that foundation, and how can we find that core issue that's stopping you from moving on to the next level? That is the rule of thumb when it comes to coaching. And it doesn't have to be bad. It could be something, it could be for a professional. It could be for a professional who is in a career, or is an entrepreneur who has a certain product or has a certain business that they're trying to grow, but they're looking for a coach to help them figure out some things to have a better idea and a better structure to get to the next level. So it's not all bad. Sometimes we have emotional problems that we want to escape that. We want to control those emotional, the emotional turmoil that some people may be currently under, but how can we make that better? That's what it's all about.
Everybody needs support.
It's all about getting to the next level.
Yeah.
But before we get to the next level, let's start with the foundation. Let's start where we're at now, where we're at in the past. Build it, figure it out. Let's get to where you want to go. You know, so.
Yeah. And I think at any point, like in your life, like you need support, and wherever that comes from, just being intentional in deciding who that influence, where that's going to come from, where you're going to get that support from, can really dictate, you know, the trajectory of your life.
That's very true.
Yeah, no, definitely. Where you're getting, and who you surround yourself with is a big thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, it goes without saying, you know, you become like the 5 people you surround yourself with. So growing up, you know, being a teenager, I mean, I had several different groups that I was hanging around, right? And it's going to vary. You're going to have to kind of discover who's your tribe, who's your vibe, what's your vibe, I mean, I should say. And that's going to come with a lot of trial and error and a lot of, you know, practice over time of who you're going to be around and who you're going to, you know, find as somebody you click with, people you click with.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, and 100%. Who you surround yourself with is really going to ultimately be the breaking point too. I mean, if you're surrounded with people that aren't adding value to your life and adding any growth to your life, then you're just going to find yourself, it's going to be a lot harder because you're just going to find yourself stagnant. But if you're surrounded by people who are evolving and are building you up and want to see you succeed and are adding value to your life too, then guess what? You're naturally going to do the same a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's like a perfect coach-client relationship. It's like,
yes,
giving that like space to have that happen and to sort of guide that process, because it can be confusing and it can be overwhelming and it can be uncertain and it can be all the things, but it can also be amazing. It can also be your passion. It can also be like living your best life. Like, that isn't something that is not possible. It's 100% possible. It's just, who are you going to surround yourself with to get you there?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's really just basically for the people who want to grow. If you don't want to grow, that's your own prerogative. We can't tell you what to do as individuals. It's where you want to go. We cannot tell you how to be as a person. That's the whole thing about coaching. We're not here to tell you what to do, because who are we to tell you what to do? We're just here to tell you, or advise you, lack for a better term, on what you need to do. That is our motto.
Or even like, I think pointing out, like, we get so into these like patterns of like the same thing over and over, and it's hard to see sometimes, like, why does this keep happening to me? Like, and for a coach to step in and be like, well, wait a minute, let's kind of really look at this and kind of dissect what is really actually going on, because there's a lot going on in our subconscious mind that we don't even, like, it's not conscious, so you don't even really even notice that it's happening. So I think being able to have that, like, someone outside of your, you know, what's going on in your world, and just kind of like open you up to like other thoughts, other possibilities, other just other ideas.
Yes.
Is like what I really like love so much about coaching, because it is so easy to get in a pattern and it just keeps repeating.
Right.
Subconscious patterns play a role in 95% of your life. 95% of your day-to-day is dictated by your subconscious patterns, your subconscious beliefs, you know, and that's huge. And that's something that is where we can really help with that, as far as uncovering and unraveling a lot of those subconscious patterns and beliefs, because a lot of the times most people don't really know or are unaware of them. They're subconscious. They're unaware. They're unconsciously aware of it. Right?
And I think in that process, though, it's like not beating yourself up about it. I think that initial, like, you know, you're starting to notice these things, And that's what we celebrate. We celebrate that now you've noticed the pattern, because that's the first step of like actually being able to change it. You have to notice that it's happening before any change can happen. So I think like in people being mindful of the fact that like, oh my goodness, I keep noticing this pattern, but that's a good thing. It's good that you're noticing, because that means that awareness is huge. Awareness is huge. And I think don't beat yourself up about it. It's a good thing. It's actually a good thing. And you should celebrate that. Celebrate the fact that you've found this pattern.
Small things, right?
Yeah. And
it just builds confidence in so many ways, man. Once you start with that, once you start feeling that confidence, you want that dopamine, you want that high.
Yeah.
You want that natural high of feeling confident. You don't want it to stop.
Yeah.
You don't want it to stop. Life is interesting. Life is going to bring you so many obstacles. It's going to bring you so many issues, or you're just going to be like, oh my God, I feel so confident today. I felt great. And the next day you're just like, what happened to that confidence?
Yeah. It's a constant, it's a constant workout. It's a constant struggle. It's a constant, movement of exercise, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. You know, you kind of need to constantly kind of put yourself and align yourself into that each day to try and to get better every day, because I mean, that's not something that you're just going to wake up every single day and feel confident. You're going to feel like you're vibrating high, that you're going to feel like you're motivated and feel like you're successful and feel like you're making progress, because it's a constant workout. It's a constant battle. It's something that's life. That's something that we're all here to figure out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But guys, great talk about coaching.
Guys.
Could talk about coaching all day long.
I know it's Saturday and we got things to do. Some of us might have some coaching clients we need to meet up, or we have some personal stuff we need to take care of. But for whoever's watching, that was the coaching 101 session that you had with us to see what each one of our coaching skills were, our brands, and who we are. So if you got value from it, feel free to DM any of us, Amanda, Michael, or me, and we'll give you a better rundown on what coaching is. If you have any questions, just feel free to DM. No problem. Judgment-free zone. No problems. And we can go on further depending on where you want to go. It's totally up to you. Coaching's not for everybody, but whoever's watching this, just understand that we're all ears. We're here to listen. We're here to give back. And it's totally up to you. But Amanda, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Oh my goodness, this was so fun.
It was a lot of fun.
So glad.
We hope to have you again soon, because you guys not too far away. You can,
yeah, bring the Canadians here. Yeah.
Canada, eh?
Yes.
But I live.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. This was awesome.
For sure.
Appreciate you.
No problem. So hope you guys keep watching the Two Cool Minds, and we'll come back with another podcast very soon. Bye.
Peace, guys.
Bye, guys.
See ya.